Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I have an unpouching type of thing, and it's kind of a first. I signed up with Urban EDC Supply with like an affiliate link type of thing. So down below, for the first time ever on my channel, there's going to be an affiliate link, which is kind of cool, I guess. I figured I might as well if I'm showing the product off. So this is a prototype of their new collaboration with Jesper Voxnaes. It's called the Copita, C-O-P-I-T-A, and it's a little small, like kind of backup pocket knife, based on what I understand. I haven't ever handled it. This is just a prototype, but they sent me one to check out, show off. The pre-order is up right now as of when I'm filming. And I forget when he told me that it's going to end. I'll make sure I have my full kind of, it won't be a review because I'm not going to be carrying and cutting with this knife. I'll slip it in and out of pocket, but it's important to them that it returns to them in the condition that it got to me in. So if I do any cutting, it would just be like maybe paper to see how the edge does, something like that. But it's really not for me to use while it's here. It's a prototype, and they've got plans for it. So it's not my place to go cutting stuff with it. Anyway, I'm going to unbox it right now. By the time that the pre-order concludes, I will have already posted my full video. But if it's something you're interested in right now already, the link will be down below. If you use that link, then it helps me out because it's an affiliate link, so that's cool. All right, yeah, so let's bust into the package. This is, like I said, a collaboration with Voxnaes. I really like Voxnaes' designs, both the stuff that he does with Giant Mouse. I enjoy that. That's obviously a collaboration between Voxnaes and Jens Anso as well. But yeah, I love the stuff that comes from Giant Mouse. I've had like the CRKT Polar is one of the Voxnaes designs. I've had, I don't know if I've had anything else that's specific to him, but anyway, I've always liked his knives, and I find, especially like the Ace Riv from Giant Mouse, it's a really, really good tiny knife. And a lot of tiny knives just kind of miss for me. In fact, the Riv is probably at the moment my favorite, like really small pocket knife. In here we've got a little Urban EDC Supply card. It's got all this info on there. Carry strong, and then this tiny little sticker. It's so small, so that's cool. There's a paper in here. Let me make sure this isn't something I'm supposed to read or anything. No, this is just saying my shipping information. Glad I didn't hold that up. And then the knife is in here. I think it's safe to assume that if you purchase one of these or pre-order one, that it's not going to ship in this. It's going to come in some kind of box that will be much nicer than this plastic bag. But again, this is a prototype. Yeah, it says prototype, internal use only. So let's go ahead and take a look. I believe he said they were sending the titanium version to me. There's a couple of versions. I'll read over what they are. Yeah, this one's the full titanium one. It's a little bit kind of chonkier than I was expecting it to be. I've only seen pictures of these. I hadn't read any specs or anything. Not that it's like really thick. It's just, it feels a little bit substantial, and part of that is probably because it is the full titanium one. I bet the micarta one will feel lighter, but I'm not saying I mind the weight. I'm just observing that it feels a little bit heavier than I would be used to. This pivot is rad. If you look at the kind of intricate design there on the pivot hardware, and then you've got this back here, which is for the pocket clip. It is reversible, so they've filled it in with this kind of shield thing. Interesting. Nice full titanium backspacer. See how it flips. Okay, yeah, snappy little guy. I believe Riat is doing the production on these. I would assume. I don't know that I've specifically read that, but I think that's just, I don't know where I picked that up from, but it feels like a Riat built knife to me on first impressions. You got the Voxnaes logo inside. I doubt you'll be able to see that, but kind of right in here inside the scale. No internal milling. It's a tiny little knife. So overall, I mean, this thing is going to be pretty lightweight, just because it's so small, but it feels heavy for its size, if that makes sense. Yeah, tiny little guy. Flipper only. So only the one deployment method, which is fine. A lot of people love flippers. You've got a generous forward finger choil here. And yeah, I mean, I get all 4 fingers on the knife, which for a knife this tiny is impressive. That's one of those things about Voxnaes ergonomics. It's like, I don't know, a lot of people take a bigger knife design and then they just shrink it down and call it a small knife, and it doesn't really work for a hand anymore when you just shrink everything down generically. But the Voxnaes designs that have been really small knives that I've experienced have just all worked for the hand. If you think the Pilar and the Riv and that kind of category of little knives, they just work really well. I like the blade grind. Nice, tall, flat, very usable shape as well. It's kind of all belly. Yeah, for the size of this knife, I feel like that's going to be a really convenient little blade to use. The spine is a little bit crowned, and you've got jimping placed a little bit forward. Not as far forward as you see on some like giant mouse knives and stuff. Maybe it's just because it's smaller, it seems like it's less far forward, but my thumb kind of lands at the forward portion of it. But it's nice, it's not aggressive, or it's not too much, that jimping. Let's see how it shuts. It's not going to be drop shutty because it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little blade. But it's snappy on deployment. Let me feel how, if I put a finger on the lock bar, it still deploys. I'm not having a problem with it seizing up or anything. That can be a big bummer, especially on tiny knives, because there's not many options of places to put your fingers. On this, I'm finding I'm kind of landing on the pocket clip. But yeah, this is interesting. I will say, so right off the bat, the looks of this knife, both in photos and now seeing it in person, it's not like super my style of what I look for aesthetically in knives, but having it in hand, I mean, I'm not surprised, frankly, that on a Voxnaes little knife design that it actually fits my hand really well. The pocket clip feels a little bit proud, but it's not really poking or prodding me. I can just feel that it's there. Nice kind of deep carry style pocket clip. Still going to have a little bit of knife sticking out of your pocket, but you've got a generous lanyard hole there for those of you who will use one. I never will, but if you will, more power to you. You've got the option. Yeah, this choil's done really well. The kind of natural curve of the handle too, the way it slants, rests into the palm really well, at least in my hand. I feel like I'm getting, I don't know, a lot more grip on this than I was expecting, especially this being a full titanium version with no like texture milled into it or anything. It's just feels pretty freaking locked in for such a tiny knife. Yeah, this is sweet. I'm trying to think where my Riv is. It might be right next to me. Let me. Yeah, here we go. Let's compare sizes on these so you can see if you've got a Riv or you've handled one. They're really close in size. Really close. I'd say the Riv is a tiny bit bigger, actually. Looking at them side by side. About the same amount of sharpened edge, though. And yeah, the Riv feels thinner in hand. Like it's slimmer. Sorry, I just ate right before shooting this. I feel like I'm burping the whole time. It's probably terrible. Yeah, this feels a little bit thicker. I haven't handled an all titanium Riv, so this feels a little bit heftier, but the micarta one may very well feel as light as the Riv does. That's hard to compare side by side because the one I have is obviously micarta, but yeah, it does feel a little bit chonkier. It's a little bit thicker, and I think a lot of people are going to appreciate that about it, actually, because the Riv is a really tiny knife, right? They both are, but this one, it's taller, but it doesn't like fill the hand as much as this does. This feels like it kind of fills the hand a little bit more. It's got just more girth to it. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look real quick at what the options are going to be on this guy. So there's brown micarta, like natural, just natural micarta. There's a black titanium version with a black coated blade as well, and then it's got like bronze backspacer and hardware. There's the OD green micarta, and then there's this titanium version. So the brown micarta one, it looks like pre-order price is $199. If I toggle to OD, same price. Titanium goes up to $239, so this version is $239 pre-order price, and the black PVD one also $239. So basically either of the titanium versions, whether you get coated or uncoated, you're looking at $239, and then if you're looking at either of the micarta options, you're looking at $199. So not too bad considering we're looking at M390 frame lock. Again, I believe that it's RIAT manufactured. I don't see that written in here, but if I had to guess, it says made to exacting standards in China, but it doesn't say which factory. So I'm just going to assume, because what they did with the f5.5 was partner with RIAT, and it seems to be in the same vein. I'll hold up my 5.5 real quick as well so you can see the other Voxnaes Urban EDC Supply collaboration. Mine's in the natural micarta, as you can see, but yeah, this is much smaller. The f5.5 is kind of a schmedium knife. It's like between small and medium in my experience, or in my opinion, and this is definitely a small knife. Like, this is a 5th pocket size knife. If you're wearing jeans or pants that have a 5th pocket, I can't imagine that this wouldn't fit pretty well. I'll test that out, I'm sure, but yeah, interesting. Choked back, it's not bad even. This is pretty cool. Again, looks-wise, it's not like my favorite thing in the world. It's kind of swooshy and swoopy for me. But in hand, it works. Voxnaes gets ergos, and he gets function in all of my experience with his knives so far. So this is really, really cool. Yeah, all right, I guess we'll call that good for now. I'll do more of an overview in a couple of days. Once I've fidgeted with it quite a bit more, I'll slip it in and out of a couple of pockets, but again, I'm keeping it absolutely pristine before sending it back to him, and it's going to be a relatively quick turnaround because I need to send this to them before I leave for the USN show on this upcoming Thursday. So I've only got today's Friday. I guess I have almost a week. I've got 6 days. But I'm probably going to send it back to them like on Wednesday, so is what it is. I'll try to expedite it a little bit. Yeah, thanks for checking it out, guys. Again, if you're interested in this knife in particular from Urban EDC Supply, use the link that I'll put in the description of this video. That would be awesome. I think if you follow that link and purchase anything from Urban EDC Supply, that will help me from the affiliate standpoint. I don't know, it's my first time doing it, but yeah, thanks guys, I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.